Welcome to the Moon Manifesting Podcast with Kyra Howearth. Hi, I'm Kyra, business astrologer, moon manifesting mama, author, teacher, and mentor. I teach you how to harness the energy of the moon, stars, and cosmos so you can manifest your dreams and discover a deeper purpose to your life. Welcome back to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. I hope you are having an amazing day. So today I am talking about what every 50-year-old needs to know, but more specifically, I'm talking all about Chiron returns. So maybe you're nowhere near 50 like me, and maybe you just want to know more about Chiron returns. And I feel like this is something that's so important to learn about because right now I have a number of people that I know who are around 50, and I've been watching them go through this awkward time of their lives. And yeah, I wish that more people could be prepared for these astrological transits so that they can understand what's going on and what the universe is really asking for us during this time. So yeah, let's just dive in to all about your Chiron returns and what you need to know. So Chiron, if you don't already know, Chiron is an asteroid that is kind of out near Jupiter, kind of out there somewhere. And Chiron actually has a kind of elliptical orbit. So it's not going in a straight circle around the sun like the other planets are. So it can spend varying times in the different zodiac signs. Chiron spends most of its time in Aries, and then it kind of relatively zips through the other zodiac signs, and it will hover in Aries for quite some time. So a lot of people will go through their Chiron return at around the same time when Chiron is in Aries as it is now in 2023. So yeah, there you go. But what will happen is Chiron takes around 50 years to go right around the zodiac and come back to the same spot. So what will happen is that generally when you're about 50, you'll go through your Chiron return. And if you're lucky enough to live through to 100, then you'll experience a second Chiron return around that time also. So you'll often feel the effects of your Chiron return starting from about age 49 through to about age 51. But yeah, give or take a bit depending on exactly what Chiron's doing on your chart and where Chiron is in the sky. As I said, the orbit is elliptical, so I feel like some people might experience their Chiron return for a bit of a longer period than others. So something to be aware of. So what Chiron symbolizes in astrology is about our wounds and our healing. So in mythology, Chiron was known as the wounded healer, and he was a healer that, would heal other people, but he was wounded himself. But what he found was that our strengths come from our wounds, and that when we can heal those wounds, then they become a strength rather than a hindrance. And so that is one of the important lessons of Chiron, no matter where Chiron is on your natal chart, that to know that your wounds can become your strengths. And I feel like that is probably one of the most important messages to take from this entire episode. If you learn nothing else, just know that when you're going through your Chiron return around age 50-ish and you have all these wounds coming up, consider how you can turn that into a strength. How can you heal those wounds and turn them into a strength? So in this episode, I am going to go through exactly Chiron and what your Chiron return means through all of the zodiac signs as well as all the houses. So keep listening because I'm going to go through all of that in a minute to figure out exactly what your Chiron return means for you. So as I was saying, during your Chiron return, it's a time from learning from your past wounds and turning those wounds into strengths. So what you can do is through healing those wounds is that you can then use that to heal others who have similar wounds. You can learn from your own healing journey and then teach others what you've learned through your own healing journey. So there is a greater purpose to our wounds. We all have these wounds. We all have chirons somewhere on our chart. We all have different wounds, different traumas, different things that may have happened to us in the past, whether it was our childhood, our past lives, or maybe more in the recent past. We all have these wounds that we carry, these things that maybe weigh us down, that make us not feel so good, these parts of ourselves that maybe we feel broken. And what our Chiron return really teaches us to do is to heal through these, to finally heal through these wounds so that we can let them go. But the sad thing that I find happens is that if we don't take that opportunity to heal through those wounds around that age, then those wounds will continue to drag on until, well, we either die or we go through that second Chiron return later in life. And, you know, hopefully by the time you're 100 and you go through that second Chiron return, hopefully you're a bit more enlightened and are able to heal through those wounds and understand the bigger picture. But yeah, I guess that's kind of what happens from my observation. So yeah, understanding your wounds as a strength so that you can release those wounds and start a new chapter. So that's what your Chiron return is all about. So if you're approaching 50, this is a really important time for you to heal those wounds so that you can overcome all that stuff that's been holding you back in the past and open up a new chapter of your life. How exciting. I'm so excited. Like, I literally cannot wait to go through my Chiron return because I just want to experience this for myself. How exciting. Okay, the joys of being an astrologer and seeing the future and being like, oh, I wonder what that's going to feel like. Okay, so I'm going to go through Chiron through the 12 houses now, as well as the 12 zodiac signs. So what I would like you to do, if you don't already know where Chiron is on your natal chart, feel free to bring up a free natal chart. You can get one for free at astro.com or astro-charts.com, or just Google free natal chart, enter in your birth details, and you will find, hopefully you'll find Chiron. You may need to do some toggling on the charts because Chiron is an asteroid, and some astrology websites may not automatically put Chiron onto the chart for you. I know on astro.com you need to go to extended chart selection and scroll down, and there'll be asteroids and stuff that you can add on, and Chiron should be towards the top of the list. And yeah, again, if you don't have any clue what you're doing, you can just book in an astrology reading with me and I will tell you exactly where Chiron is on your chart and all that you need to know about your Chiron return, as well as anything else that's on your astrology chart, any other transits and that sort of thing. So you can book a reading in the show notes below if this is kind of all going over your head. Alrighty, so on your natal chart, let's find Chiron. So Chiron on your natal chart, the glyph for Chiron, it kind of looks like a key. It has a circle down the bottom, a straight line at the top, and then it kind of has like a K type thing, kind of like a K with a circle on the bottom. Kind of looks like a key. So yeah, see if you can find Chiron on your chart, and remembering that you may have to do some toggling if your chart isn't displaying Chiron. So through the houses, Chiron through the houses. So the houses on your natal chart are to do with what area of your life that is where you have these wounds, this wound that you've been carrying through your life, and what's really being called of you to heal, especially as you go through your Chiron return. Okay, so Chiron through the first house is all to do with your appearance. So Chiron in the first house may often display as like some sort of, I don't want to say deformity, but like some sort of physical deformity or blemish or something that you may be afraid of to do with your physical appearance. Maybe, and it may not actually be like a deformity or something that's even wrong with you. It may be just that you think that you don't look beautiful enough, but other people might look at you and think, wow, you're gorgeous, but maybe you just can't see your own beauty yourself. So that is something for you to work on healing. If Chiron is in your first house, to work on healing those wounds to do with your appearance. And yeah, from what I've seen with Chiron in the first house, it's often not that these people have anything wrong with them. It's that they just feel that they are beautiful. So if that is you, know that you are beautiful. Know that you don't need to cover yourself up with makeup or Botox or implants or anything like that, that you are beautiful just the way that you are. So if Chiron is in your second house, then this could be the wounds that will come up within your Chiron in the second house are to do with things like your finances or romance. So the second house energy here could really have things to do with money blockages, maybe feeling like you're not worthy to receive money. Maybe you've been in financial hardship for so long and your Chiron return is actually a chance to break free of that energy, to break free of those financial hardships and find financial freedom. Maybe if that second house energy is more coming up to do with your romances, then this could be a really good opportunity to heal whatever you feel is wrong with your relationships, or perhaps it's lack of relationships. And often this comes down to a lack of self-love or self-worth. So working on your own self-love practices, boosting your self-esteem and knowing that you are worthy of what you want to manifest in your life will really help you with your healing journey throughout your Chiron return. So if Chiron is in your third house, then your Chiron return will bring up your fears to do with your social life, with how you connect with other people. So what this can mean is that you may have a fear of not being able to connect with other people. Maybe you don't feel like you fit in with others. Maybe you don't feel like it's safe to speak up and to be heard. So if Chiron is in your third house, then these are things for you to be working on throughout your Chiron return, knowing that you can speak up for what you want, knowing that you do fit in to everyone else, even if you feel like you're too different or that you don't have enough friends. Know that it's really just that Chiron, that wound that's holding you back, and it's your own fears. Chiron is often to do with our fears. It's those fears that hold us back. And so with Chiron in your third house, it's about overcoming those fears so that you can feel more confident in social situations. If Chiron is in your fourth house, then your wounds for you to be healing, especially throughout your Chiron return, are to do with your home and family life. So this could be to do with things such as your family relationships, relationships with your spouse, with your children, with your parents, with your siblings, those close family relationships, maybe what needs healing. Or perhaps it's something to do with your sense of security. So with the fourth house energy, we may have a fear of being insecure, like that things will get taken from us, or that we won't have a house, we don't have like a roof to put over our heads, or that sort of thing. So your Chiron return can really bring up those fears, but again, it's bringing up that opportunity to overcome those fears, to know that you are secure, to know that you are loved and supported by your close ones, and to know that there will always be a roof to put over your head. There will always be something to help you feel secure. So with Chiron in the fifth house, if your Chiron is in your fifth house, then your fears can come up to do with expressing yourself creatively. So it may be to do with not feeling like you can express your ideas, or that you're not allowed to have too much fun, you're not allowed to play, that you've got to be serious all the time. Like maybe you have wounds there about, playing when you should have been doing schoolwork, And if you're maybe turning 50 this year, maybe you're old enough to have got the cane when you were at school because maybe you were too busy drawing or something instead of doing your schoolwork. And so it's maybe that sort of energy that you need to heal, or something along those lines that you need to heal so that you can overcome those wounds. So with Chiron in the 6th house, the wounds that are going to be coming up for you, especially throughout your Chiron return, are to do with your physical health as well as your day-to-day routines. So definitely paying attention throughout your Chiron return for any physical health symptoms that may be coming up. Or if you've had any lingering health issues, then this could be a really positive time in your life for overcoming those health issues. Maybe seeing a health practitioner, maybe getting on medication, or maybe making some positive changes with your day-to-day health, quitting bad habits, or maybe swapping out your meals for something healthier. There are so many things that you can be doing if Chiron is in your 6th house to turn over a new leaf with your health and routines. If Chiron is in your 7th house, then the wounds that may be coming up, especially throughout your Chiron return, are to do with your close relationships and how you give and receive support. So you may have wounds to do with past relationships where you've been hurt. So maybe this has stopped you from trusting other people or from going deeper into relationships with other people because you're so wounded from those close relationships in the past. And it doesn't necessarily mean romantic relationships. Maybe it was close relationships that you had with best friends when you were younger, or even with close relationships with your family, your parents, or your siblings. Maybe there was some hurt there that happened when you were younger, and those wounds have been held onto throughout your life. And now as you're going through your Chiron return through your 7th house, this is a really positive opportunity to heal those relationships so that you can turn over a new leaf and begin to love and trust and feel supported again. If Chiron is in your 8th house, then this can really bring up wounds to do with business, with how you make money, or even with your inner fears. So Chiron in the 8th house can really bring up like some deep fears, and they may be subconscious fears that you're not even aware of on a conscious level. It may just be things that have been subconsciously holding you back. And with Chiron in the 8th house, you may really benefit from going to counseling or to a psychologist or psychiatrist or someone like that, where you can probe deeper into your subconscious to understand more about those wounds and how they've been holding you back, how they've been limiting your life, so that you can heal them and overcome them and turn over a new opportunity for the rest of your life. So if your Chiron return is happening through your 9th house, if your Chiron is in your 9th house on your natal chart, then your wounds here are to do with your perspective of life and your philosophy. And so maybe you have been really afraid to share that meaning of life with others, to share your deeper philosophy, to share your spiritual views even. Maybe you have been born into a specific religion, but as you've grown older, you've realized that that religion wasn't for you. And so it's kind of like being in the witch's closet, like being in the broom closet, because the spiritual path that you were brought up to follow, you found that wasn't for you, but you had to kind of hide that part of yourself. You had to hide your spiritual path. And so your Chiron return could be a really good opportunity for you to come out of that broom closet, the witch's closet, come out as a witch, or, whatever spiritual path that may be, and know that, that is the path that you are on, and it is safe for you to be on that journey, that you don't have to follow any other religions or paths that just don't gel with you. So if your Chiron return is happening through your 10th house, then these wounds can be to do with your career and your long-term goals, as well as the impact that you want to create on the world. So with Chiron going through your 10th house as your Chiron return, then you may feel as though these fears about your career path, they may be coming up to the surface. You may be afraid to take that next step in your career. You may have realized, hey, you've always held yourself back with your career, maybe because you felt like you weren't worthy or that you weren't good enough, or maybe you just didn't have the power that you could step into to take that next step. So your Chiron return is a really positive opportunity to overcome those fears so that you can take that next step in your career and create a bigger impact on the world. And if your Chiron is in your 10th house, then chances are that part of your career is actually to be a healer, to help other people heal. So that could be something as well to play around with. If you're going through your Chiron return and it's in your 10th house, maybe it's time for a career change as a healer. Yeah, something to think about. So if Chiron is in your 11th house, then your Chiron return will bring up the themes of the 11th house of community and friendships. So maybe you've never felt like you fit into the community around you. Maybe you've always felt different. Maybe you've always kind of been the black sheep, so to speak. So it's all about, your Chiron return is all about overcoming those fears so that you can realize that you do fit in. And as you overcome those fears and realize that you fit in, you can also help other people heal by helping them fit in as well. So with your Chiron in the 11th house, then naturally you'll find yourself being quite an inclusive person, because probably for most of your life you felt excluded. You have possibly felt like you just didn't fit into those groups, that you didn't belong. And so naturally part of your healing gift is being able to help others fit in and seeing where people don't belong or feel like they don't belong and helping them see that they actually do belong. And if Chiron is in your 12th house, then your Chiron return is really going to bring up your fears about not being able to stop and rest. So maybe if your Chiron is in your 12th house, you feel like you have to go all the time, that you have to do all the things, be all the things. Your Chiron return is really going to force you to slow down, to take a break from everything and realize that you don't have to do everything, that it's okay to take a break, to rest, to let other people step in for a change and do the things. Okay, so that is Chiron through the 12 houses. So I'm now going to go through the 12 zodiac signs. So find your Chiron through these 12 zodiac signs to understand a bit more about what's coming up for you during your Chiron return. So if your Chiron is in Aries, as I mentioned before, Chiron spends quite a bit of time in Aries. So chances are, statistically, if you're listening to this, then your Chiron is in Aries. So what this means for you with your healing journey and your Chiron return is that you need to be proactive about healing. You need to take the first step and stand up for yourself rather than just waiting for other people to heal you and I guess not even taking responsibility for your own healing journey. You need to realize that you are the only person who can heal you. No one else can heal you. And this is a really important message for everyone, but I feel like Aries, people with Chiron and Aries need to hear this the most, is that you need to take responsibility for your own healing journey, that you are your own healer. You are the only person who can actually heal yourself. You can go to all the health practitioners in the world, but unless you are proactive about your health and you do the healing yourself, then nothing's going to change. So that is the biggest thing for you to know. If your Chiron is in Aries, that's really what's going to come up throughout your Chiron return, is that this is going to be a really important time for you to take the lead, to step up and be your own healer. Now, if Chiron is in Taurus, then what you need to know about your Chiron return is that it's okay for you to ask for what you desire and for what you want, that you deserve those things in your life, that you don't have to hold yourself back because you feel like you don't deserve it. Know that you are deserving and that you are worthy. And know that if you're healing through anything at the moment throughout your Chiron return, that this is a really, it can take a slow time. It can be a really slow and steady process, but the healing will come. Just keep being persistent and consistent with your healing practices and know that it will work. And know that, yeah, you are deserving of being healed as well. So if your Chiron is in Gemini, what this means for you is that throughout your Chiron return, you may begin to realize that you've been feeling left out for so long, but it's okay to actually be confident and just kind of insert yourself into those places where you feel left out, to make yourself not feel left out, to make yourself feel included. So often we can feel left out, but it's our own perception that is holding us back and making us feel that way. Whereas if we have more confidence and more self-esteem, then we can easily feel like, oh, I do belong. I do fit into this group. I can speak up and be a part of this. So that is what is coming up for healing for you. If you have Chiron in Gemini, know that it is safe for you to speak up and to feel confident and to make yourself feel included. If your Chiron is in Cancer, then your wounds that are coming up for healing are particularly to do with abandonment. So maybe in the past you felt abandoned, you felt like you weren't nurtured, you felt like you weren't cared for. And again, you know, this could just be your own feeling. Maybe it was like some minor thing that happened in your life, but it maybe triggered this feeling in you. Like you maybe got lost in a shopping center or something, and it's triggered this fear of abandonment, right? And because of this blockage, because of this wound, you will often feel that you need to be abandoned and that it's not okay for other people to look after you. You may get stuck in that abandonment issue. And so what you need to know is that it's safe to trust others and it's safe for others to nurture you. It's safe to let people care for you. You don't have to be by yourself. You can let other people look after you. So that is your message if your Chiron is in Cancer. Throughout your Chiron return, let people look after you. Let yourself be nurtured. If people want to support you and nourish you and give you things and do things for you, let them. So if your Chiron is in Leo, then what's going to come up for you during your Chiron return is creative blocks. You may find that you've been hiding your talents, you've been hiding your creativity, you've been hiding your unique gifts from the world because you're afraid of maybe people stealing your ideas or maybe shutting down your creativity. Maybe you made a beautiful drawing when you were younger and something bad happened. Maybe you got some bad criticism and so you stopped shining your light. You stopped creating things. You stopped shining your light into the world with your creative pursuits. So what you need to know is that it's okay to shine. It's okay to be creative, and if you want to become famous as well, like Leo is all about fame and fortune, that it's safe to become famous, that nothing bad is going to happen to you if you become famous from sharing your gifts into the world. And yeah, maybe that is like a really strong fear for you, that maybe you have a fear of becoming too famous, because if you become too famous, like, yeah, bad things could happen, right? But that is a fear for you to overcome, especially throughout your Chiron return. Know that it is safe for you to become famous for your creativity and to shine your light into the world. So if your Chiron is in Virgo, what will come up for you are possibly your health issues could come up throughout your Chiron return, your physical health issues, or maybe just a physical health issue could come up, maybe something quite sporadic, like you break a leg or something. But also fear of failure. With Chiron in Virgo, there is this fear of getting it wrong, because the Virgo energy is so wrapped up in making everything perfect. What can happen with Chiron in Virgo is that you will hold yourself back from doing anything because you're afraid of getting it wrong. So if this is you, what you need to work on is just making those positive daily habits so that you can make progress rather than not doing anything all and holding yourself back from perfectionism. So this is, particularly something for you to work on throughout your Chiron return, is to just know that it is okay to get it wrong sometimes. But if you never give it a go, if you never try, how will you know if you get it right or wrong anyway? So stop holding yourself back. If you have Chiron and Virgo, know that it is safe to just do it and get it done. Done is better than perfect. If your Chiron is in Libra, your wounds can be around helping others or receiving help from others. And you may even find it difficult to develop close relationships because you may have trust issues. So what's coming up for healing for you throughout your Chiron return is being able to heal those trust issues, being able to accept help and support from other people, and being able to bring more harmony into your life. With Chiron in Libra, what will really help you heal on your healing journey is by bringing more harmony and peace into your life. So if things are like way too chaotic and like everything's like disturbing your peace, you need to maybe meditate more or find more moments of stillness and peace so that you can heal those blocks that you have. Maybe work on healing relationships as well, working through relationship issues if that's something that's come up for you, especially throughout your Chiron return. That's something for you to heal if your Chiron is in Libra. Okay, so moving on to Chiron in Scorpio. If your Chiron is in Scorpio, your Chiron return is going to be bringing up your wounds to do with power. You will probably have a fear about losing your power. And maybe that's your worst fear, about being powerless or about losing everything and not even knowing why you have these fears. Your fears may be quite mysterious at times, and maybe you need to do some probing, do some digging to work out where these fears are really coming from. Because maybe these fears are quite embedded in your subconscious beliefs and you may not even be aware of them. So maybe you need to investigate and figure out where these beliefs are coming from, where these fears are coming from, so that you can overcome them. So shadow work can be something that's quite helpful if you have Chiron in Scorpio, where you can dig deep into those fears and those limiting beliefs so that you can get to the root of your wounds and reclaim your power. So Chiron in Scorpio, if that is you, your Chiron return will be so helpful for you to reclaim your power, to release those limiting beliefs and those blocks so that you can find your power and step into it. If you have Chiron in Sagittarius, then your deep fears are around not knowing the answers and about getting it wrong. And what you need to know, especially as you're going through your Chiron return, is that you can trust your inner wisdom. You can trust your knowledge. And, by the time you're going through your Chiron return, you're 50, right? By the time you're 50, you would know so much. You would have so much wisdom. So trust in that wisdom, trust in your knowledge, and trust in your inner knowing as well, because those are the things that are really going to help you overcome that fear of not knowing the answers. And part of your healing journey is about helping others to trust their inner knowing as well, to help them on their own healing journey by letting them know that they have all the answers inside of them already. And you can be a really powerful guide for others throughout their healing journey as well, by helping them work through the steps that you have been working throughout your own healing journey. So if you have Chiron in Capricorn, oh geez, you have a fear about losing control, about not being able to control all of those tiny little details. Am I striking a chord? If you have a Chiron in Capricorn, let me know, because I can kind of relate to this, even though I don't have Chiron in Capricorn, but I have quite a few Capricorn planets. So Chiron in Capricorn, you need to accept that you can't control everything. You can't control the weather. You can't control other people. You can't control the universe. There are so many things that you can't control, but you want to control everything. So what you need to focus on is accepting that you can't control everything. And this will help you heal immensely. When you accept and surrender, surrender is probably your biggest keyword here, Chiron in Capricorn. When you surrender to the universe, surrender to the flow, and know that you don't need to control everything, then this will help you heal those wounds. And you will also help other people heal as well by sharing that healing journey with others, by helping others realize that they don't need to control all those little details, that, you know, if you just accept and surrender and go with the flow, things will usually work out okay anyway. If you have Chiron in Aquarius, then your biggest fear is around rejection. And this is where your wound is. You may have this wound from the past about being rejected, or about not fitting in, or being too different. So to overcome this fear, to heal this wound, you need to realize that you are beautiful just the way you are, in your unique expression. Celebrate your uniqueness. Celebrate what makes you different. And as you do this, you can also help celebrate what's unique about other people. So Chiron in Aquarius can really help other people on their healing journey by helping others understand those unique parts about themselves, and by being inclusive, by including different people from all different walks of life into your activities, your work, whatever it is that you're doing, by helping other people feel included and know that you're included too, right? That's probably the most important thing. And then Pisces, if your Chiron is in Pisces, then your biggest fear is being the victim. You may often feel like you are the victim of your life. You feel like the universe is conspiring against you. You may feel like things just never go your way. And Pisces, the biggest thing for you to know, and whether this is through your Chiron return or just throughout your life, is that you are not the victim. Is that the universe doesn't do things to you. The universe is doing things for you. So all these things that happen and you feel like, this is so bad, this is awful, why is the universe doing this to me? Just shifting that perspective and realizing that the universe is maybe doing these things for you to help you in some shape or form. And even if you can't understand why when it happens, having faith in the bigger picture, knowing that all these things, all these seemingly bad things, they happen for a bigger reason. And you may not understand that yet, and you may not understand it when you're going through your Chiron return, and you may not understand it even later in life, but the universe has a bigger plan for us all, a bigger picture, and sometimes these things just happen. So that is your lesson from your Chiron return. If you have Chiron in Pisces, is to know that there is a bigger picture, to have faith in the bigger picture, and whatever the universe is throwing your way, it is for a reason, and to have faith that it is all going to work out, rather than feeling like you're the victim and that bad things always happen to you. Okay, change that mentality. So that is Chiron through all the 12 houses and all the 12 zodiac signs. So hopefully all of that information, when you piece that together with your Chiron house and your Chiron zodiac sign, when you piece together that information, it will help you understand more about what to expect, when you're going through your Chiron return at around age 50. But honestly, like all this information I have shared, whether you're going through your Chiron return or not, this information is really important to understand at any point of your life, because your Chiron and those wounds that Chiron represents on your chart, it's always at play, and these are always fears that are holding us back in so many different ways and parts of our lives. So take on those lessons and learn from your Chiron. Learn how to make your wound into a strength. So again, if you want to know more about your Chiron return or any other astrological transits that are coming up for you, you can book a reading with me. I do tarot and astrology readings. I love to look at your natal chart to maybe have a look at what energy is coming up for you in the future, maybe find answers to your questions about the right timing for certain things in your life. Or if you just have things on your mind that you want to know more about, astrology and tarot can definitely help you find more clarity and guidance. So you'll find the details to book a reading down there in the show notes below. So feel free to click through and have a look and choose the reading that suits you best. So that is it. I hope that this episode has been really helpful to help you understand more about your Chiron and your Chiron return, and about what to expect when you approach the age of 50. Honestly, I'm really excited. Like it sounds like it's an intense time. And if you were going through your Chiron return, I'd love to know what's going on for you too. But personally, I'm really excited to go through mine. I can't wait to be 50. All right, I will talk to you all in the next episode of the Moon Manifesting podcast. Stay magical, stay manifesting, and stay tuned. I'll speak with you really soon.
Thank you for listening to the Moon Manifesting podcast. If you're wanting more moon magic, check out my book, Moon Manifesting. Download your free Moon Manifesting calendar or connect with me on social media. You can do all of that at kyrahowearth.com.au. Stay magical, stay manifesting, and stay tuned. I'll speak with you in the next episode.